Cause I got laced by a Greek father. Murdering with the mic, I slaughter. I'm an original ganja farmer. Original ganja farmer. Original ganja farmer.
Welcome to the Frame of Flower podcast. This is episode number 49. I'm joined by very special guests. I've been trying to get them on the show forever. I finally did. But we got Mendo Dope here. Thanks for joining us, guys.
Yay!
What up, my brother? What's up, man?
Yeah, what's up, man? Guys, so I'm so hyped we got to do this. But so I guess just for the audience, I want to just kind of start just kind of, where you guys from, who are you guys, and then kind of, I want to get into, because you guys have done some really interesting stuff. Because I've been a lot of people have commented on different YouTube videos of mine. You got to cover Mendo Dope. You got to, you have a cult-like following, right? So,
hell yeah.
But I guess let's start at kind of, the beginning, I guess, with cannabis and your relationship in general. So,
yeah, for sure. Yeah, we're right up here in the middle of the Emerald Triangle. Born and raised in Mendocino County. We've been into the ganja scene since we were, pretty young, back in the early days of high school when we started first getting our first taste of ganja, going out to different friends of ours' gardens and starting out with trimming, first getting our hands a little sticky on the trimming side. And during those times, I was kind of getting into a little bit of music, so me and some friends were freestyling, just kicking some rhymes, which eventually started turning into a real want to do music, and opportunities came up where we met some people that brought us into the game. And ever since then, man, it's just been a whole cycle of music and growing side by side. And really, we represent the cannabis culture. That's what our music's a dedication to the ganja farmers, not just all the smokers out there, which we love all the smokers, everybody as a whole team, but we wanted to really focus on the ganja farming side and do some music that people like us, the style that we were living, a whole different side of the game that a lot of people hadn't heard yet.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And the thing about, the smoke, like I love how you said, the smokers, they're always going to be around. Some of these growers, though, they may lose their livelihood, in this process of legalization, or, which is unfortunate, but
yeah, it's a for sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
But no, that's I've been, I really like to, I don't really like, I've had maybe one or two kind of corporate companies kind of come on, but they were none of the big, the MSOs, and none of them. But no, this is, I started my doing YouTube really because I'm all about, I want to help small business. I want to help, the people in the traditional market transfer over however I can, and just through knowledge. But no, I definitely see you guys are definitely, epicenter of the culture. You guys definitely, I hear in your music, the different messages that you're sending. And
Appreciate that.
I do. Yeah. And I definitely appreciate it too. I got to commend you guys, tip my hat off to you guys. So let's, before we get into the music part, I want to get into, what is it like? What is Mendo? So Mendo, what is Mendocino County like? What is, because you guys in Mendocino County, right?
Yep.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's
How would you describe it?
describe it more of off the grid kind of. A lot of mountains, a lot of people living off the land. We have different small towns that the big town here is Ukiah would be not like a city still, but it's where the main town is, and there's a lot of places all on the outskirts, and it's a huge cannabis epicenter for sure. Most all the businesses, even if they don't like weed, they realize that a lot of the money that circles through town and keeps businesses alive is from weed growers and weed people in the industry. So it's been real prevalent for sure our whole life. And as we got older, it was bound to happen for sure, living out here, that we were going to be in some kind of doing something with cannabis.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but it's real pretty, real lots of trees. We got the Montgomery Woods, one of the biggest forests with some of the tallest trees in the world are out here. It's very cool scenery. So many people, when they come from out of town or out of state, and they're just so blown away on the scenery and how pretty it is up here. And we were so used to it living up here, and it
took
spoiled
a little bit.
Exactly. Super spoiled. Just didn't realize how beautiful it was. And we'd go out of town and out of state, and we realized like, oh yeah, Mendo is very different, and it's a lot
Come
more.
from LA, go there, man. Yeah, that's LA.
Just that alone, yeah, it's a
yeah.
huge difference.
Yeah.
That makes us always appreciate where we're at, because we go out to these spots where it's just like, that city life, it gets chaos. It's like, it's crazy traffic, nonstop people everywhere, noises, sirens, all this stuff. Like, it's real nice to be able to come back home and come out to the house and just chill in your backyard and just listen to birds chirping and just like the nature.
I bet. No, I especially coming from LA. Like, no offense to people. LA's a great city, but also not my favorite aesthetically. / just there's other things too. But but I definitely like Seattle's kind of an interesting place here because it's a city of parks. Have you guys ever been to Seattle?
Yeah, just
one time.
Yeah, and we did like it. Yeah, it was different though, for sure. Yeah,
everything. The lakes, like, so there, because it's like Seattle's like this pretty much, and there's the huge lake, and then there's the ocean, but it's just filled with the city of parks. So like, we'd be it had like a ton of nature. Like we would like leave school and like go smoke at like this crazy like right, pretty close by. We had so many different things to choose. So we were kind of spoiled in that sense. So we had a little bit of a hybrid. So like, if I go to like a big city like a New York or I personally feel like that. I'm like, I needed just a little bit chiller, so, but no, I think it's I think especially nowadays living out, where you guys are, I think a lot of people are following suit, in terms of the pandemic and all that. So
there's been a lot of people, that have, I mean, just with pandemic, with jobs too, where you don't have to live in the city where your job is, so you could do shit on the internet, and just people wanting to be away from people more.
Yeah, a little more spread out and some distance.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's definitely changing everything. So let's go into, I really want to go into the start of, well, I guess like in terms of being involved with cannabis, you obviously, the traditional market, I guess how long are you guys involved with that? If you guys are okay with talking about that or not.
Yeah, it's always good.
Yeah.
We're not really,
yeah.
We don't talk about. We put ourselves on blast for a long time. Like pretty much high school days, I think, is when we first started getting into to like real deep into weed. Right out of high school, like 2005, it would be for me.
It's medical too. I don't know what I'm not sure. It's medical market.
Yeah, it was medical since '96 out here. So
yeah,
there was a lot of people growing. Like even back in high school days, like we would even scout out for plants, and we would even fucking go raid plants every once in a while, try to get smoke. There's lots of different gardens everywhere. We're always like, oh, that dude's got plants over here. This dude's got plants over here. Old E never really did, but
I never participated in a raid.
There was a lot of different crazy shit going on in high school. Yeah, where just
these guys
were
crazy.
Fiends.
Yeah, these kids were crazy back in the day.
We go take some tops off some plants hanging over a fence or some shit. And then like right out of high school is when we started actually working for growers and getting to know like that kind of side of things. And then pretty soon after that, probably the first year after trimming for some big farmers, we started talking our mom into letting us grow weed at the house and stuff like that. Get a couple plants in the vegetable garden.
Slowly but surely, yeah, we took over about half of the vegetable garden in the backyard with plants. Like one year it got pretty nice, and we're like, damn, we filled up this section. It's kind of boasting over the fence and everything.
Yeah, and she's in a real residential neighborhood, surrounded in houses on every side. Yeah,
no room in between. It's
right
just
in the middle of
back houses.
That's crazy. Your mom ended up like your mom. So your mom was cool that she wasn't annoyed by it. She thought it was.
She was a little. She started to get like, okay, this is getting a little too much now. Where
it was perfect time, and when we blew up her backyard like a little too much is right when we moved out.
Yeah. And that's when we really got to start experimenting and getting into our own thing, and like really starting seeds and looking at different strains and just taking it to that next level of like, oh wow, like look at all these flavors and options and varieties that there is to grow and figure out what works good out here. And it's been a whole learning process from that first seed that we germinated.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think with I'm starting to kind of like explore the whole like because I'm like I've been known about obviously genetics and stuff and all that, but like I've really started to like dive into like the flavors and stuff, and it's been super fascinating. But
It is.
yeah, in terms of some of the flavors you guys, because I know you guys have some, because I've had people comment specifically like on different posts of mine being like, yo, like you got to get some like what are some of the flavors that you guys are kind of known for that you guys.
Like like for a long time we're working with Subcool, so a
Mhm.
lot of like people associate us with a lot of Subcool strains of like the Space Queen, Jack the Ripper, and Vortex, and
Cheesequake.
Cheesequake, and he had a lot of strains. He started
Yeah.
getting overwhelming at the end of his life, where he had too many strains. Even it was out of control. We couldn't even keep track of them. But Sub actually made our first strain for us in 2016,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the Mendo Dope. A lot of people started calling it It's Mendo Dope, and we just went with that. That was super cool strain. It's very bubblegum grape kind of flavor to it.
Orange and
Like a orange peel, bubblegum grapey thing. It's a lot of different fruit phenos that come out of that. That one's a locomotion from Heroes of the Farm and Subcool's Space Queen, or I
Cork.
mean Corkle, which is Space Queen dominant one that we use for the first cross.
That's-
So that one's like our first strain that we ever had like as our own,
mhm.
and then we made another strain called Wreak Havoc, which does like a ode to Reek Daddy, who got us into music back in the day. That was like a grapey Kush kind of thing.
Yeah. What is like Mendo purple? Like, what's the famous? Is it just
There
the?
is,
There's a Mendo Perps.
yeah,
It's
and
like the
Mendo
famous.
Breath.
Yeah,
Mendo Breath.
Mendo breath. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, those two are made by other people, but they were I don't know exactly the stories behind them, but they were for sure giving rep to Mendo. Yeah, I don't know
Yeah.
if anyone lived in Mendo or not. Anyway, with the Mendo Breath, the Gage Green genetics guys made that one, and we've heard of that one for a long time, but didn't really have any too much of it. But just recently, we wanted to cross it with our Mendo Dope since we've been getting into breeding more. So we crossed that one up, and we really liked that Mendo Breath a lot. Once we got to know it, we got a really good cut of it. The Mendo Perps too. Some of the Mendo Perps we had through the years, we were growing that a long time ago. That was the first Mendo strain, and it was never like grapes, like Purple Kush or Granddaddy Purple. The phenos that we would see back in the day, they'd be
Almost more like a flower, like a lavender kind of something trippy, different, unique terp coming out. That wasn't like a regular grape smell for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we
Interesting.
even got our hands on that strain the same time we got the Mendo Breath, and the cut that we got was actually very grapey.
Mm-hmm.
So the most grapiest Mendo Perp strain we've ever had, and we crossed that with our Mendo Dope too.
Oh,
So we wanted to kind of get as much Mendo stuff to our Mendo. That
yeah.
was just cool for the name in general. And then
For
we
real,
started
dude.
really liking it.
Intertwining the roots.
Yeah, 100%. Mendo X2 or whatever. I'm bad at math, so probably messed it up. No, yeah. What's your guys' opinion of like the new kind of like the modern like strain game now, like the strain game right now, just in general? Like what are just some things that that are different, or maybe things you don't like or things you like, or I'm just curious. But if you guys have any takes on that.
Well,
I mean, like overall, it's getting overdone for sure. There's too many strains getting made, and too many people that aren't real breeders probably making them. But it's just because it's so fun to do that. Anyone could make strain, and you start to get into it, you realize how easy it really is to make a strain. It's just kind of like selling of the strains kind of got overdone. Like I think anyone should have the right to make strains, especially for themselves. But the amount of strains are getting made and sold and cross backed, it's like a little bit too much hybrid action going on. But there is some really really cool strains. There's there's a lot of cool things going on. Then there's also like the way that this hype shit's like, we talk a lot about this hype strains and like exotics and shit. Like it's starting to piss us off a lot about what people think exotic is. It's like it's anyone's preference is kind of their own preference, and then this people, and it's mostly like Cookies and Seed Junkie, and these dudes are making these strains that are so hot that everyone thinks they're the only ones that are bomb anymore or something. It's weird. It's like there's so many good strains out there, but yet everyone's talking about the same 10 strains, and even if they're not named the same, they're still based on the same 10 strains.
Same family. Yeah, it's all still from that. And then the Skittles kind of came in right recently. That's kind of a newer kind of line,
Yeah,
but it's always been from the
semi-newish.
GSC, right? It's been in those 10, right?
Yeah, the cookies started to like be a real super hyped up big strain that's in that exotic category
Yeah,
that people would call exotic and stuff.
yeah,
And then after that, the gelatos, and then gelato crossed to anything and runts and
yeah. Now runs and stuff, and I've been researching. I'm doing a story on runs, so I've been researching the whole story just
okay,
because I've just
nice.
been, and I don't have anybody to interview or anybody to talk to, so I'm just trying to figure it out slowly. So I've been having to do a bunch of research on it, so I've kind of I figured it out. Figured it out though, but
Yes.
I do think though it's kind of crazy. Like it is insane how the masses are so swayed on these on I think like what I kind of see is, you know, and I wasn't really around I guess for kind of before, but I guess what I've been told slash I've read or whatever
Uh-huh.
is we're getting farther away I guess from more so of the biology and more closer to the branding and the marketing and the hype, right? Like less so, which,
Definitely.
Yeah.
you know, which is
Less
yeah
yeah, like variety characteristics of yeah, different things. Yeah, it's a
yeah
big name game. Like with the Skittles and stuff. Like we're friends with Chirp Hogs and
Mhm.
Skittles. We went to school with Fields and stuff, who was like one of the co-owners of the Skittles and stuff
Mhm.
with Tony Mendo, and like they're like fucking super funny with that shit too. It's crazy. It's like
I
what
saw a
is
post
going
by
on?
Terrace Hogs today actually, like he's like he was like, I don't even know how to like look at these like strains anymore because like I'm gonna start just creating like the strains like with the brand, right? Like with the DS at the end, right? So it's just
Yep,
because
yep.
it's really like that, and
Strands.
I was very well said. I was like I was laughing because it's like kind of like that's kind of what it is now, like um, which I think, you know, can definitely, I think until there's like a real like a system that really makes confirms that this is the right, you know, these are the genetics, that there's, you know, all these different uh you know, we can actually get real data that actually is like confirmed that, you know, because for example like runts, right? Like pink runts, white runts, those are just different phenos, right? Off the
I
same
would believe that most of that stuff's different phenos. Yeah, that
yeah, but we
yeah.
don't, yeah, I don't know. So I don't know. I also do, yeah, but it is one of these fascinating like areas of the industry, this or the sec or of the culture industry, really, or you want to call it.
Uh-huh.
But um where like I see there's a lot of consumers now breeding, like you were saying, there's a ton of people now just getting into like creating their own strains and stuff and like collecting it. And I just didn't until like probably 6 months ago, I didn't really understand like how these people, there's so many people involved with this. People I've been told by many people it's like it gets addictive. Like they get addicted to like collecting different
Oh,
like
for sure.
strains and like
Yeah,
yeah.
guaranteed.
Definitely, yeah.
Uh,
So and then I also started to kind of look at like kind of there's a lot of individualism in the strain game where there's like individuals can drive, you know, popularity, right?
yeah, yeah.
um, which I think is interesting. Like I met Adam Dunn. I don't know if you guys know Adam Dunn is.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, he's like, this is, I don't know if this is like the 100% true. I think it's kind of funny though in the sense with the like the individualism and something. But he's like, yeah, the breeders are like the and you guys will get this, but the breeders are like the SoundCloud rappers of the industry. Now I don't know, like yeah, yeah,
Yeah, for
and
sure.
yeah, and like I don't like I don't completely buy to that, and you know I know Adam told me he's like, yeah, I got a lot of shit for that one comment, but I know it's kind of funny, but it does kind of go back because it really is. It's like it's a lot of like individualism of like people really buy into the person, and then they buy, and then they'll buy into the.
Yes,
Sometimes
for
not though.
sure.
Other times not. Other times it's just they just buy because it's they like the brand or they like the quality of seeds or whatever it may be.
Yeah, it's just harder the more that shit gets mainstream and the more that this market goes to the masses and stuff, it turns into that a lot faster.
Yep.
And it
Yeah.
becomes whatever this cool guy thinks is cool is what you think's cool now. And since people talk about it on a big level, that it makes you want it and feel cool when you're smoking it. So
And whatever's marketed and advertised so big and out there, like, oh, it's in your face everywhere. That's the shit right there. Like, and yeah,
it's very easy to trick everyone now because, like, for us in '96 when it went legal out here, you know, we were like I was only 10 years old, and after like sophomore year, one of the homies that was like 16, I think, when he got his first card, his mom helped him get it and stuff, and we would go to the clubs, and we would like. It took a long time for us to learn what we really liked, and it wasn't on blast, dude. You can't just see it on the internet. You didn't know any strains.
Yeah, we weren't
You're not being told what to
billboards
do.
and-
You're not
Yeah,
being
we're
a
not-
sheep. You're
not
deciding.
being,
Yeah,
we're not being sheeped up. Yeah, exactly. And
literally. Yeah.
so it took a long time, and now it's like even in California, which other states are, behind or like getting to the point where we're at, but even in California, there's all this new legalization, and these new people are going to the club for the first time these last few years, and more new people that were never into it are like down because it's legal now, and it's just so it takes time for them to realize what they want. But now in this time, they're getting told what they like, so it's like it's a weird time right now for this third or fourth year into legalization of just watching like how we were for 2 or 3 years, figuring out what we liked and figuring out what to buy at the club, to where like it's just so much different now for these new people to learn for themselves.
It's a really, really good point. Actually, I like that because it's really like shows commodified, right? But it's also like the whole idea of like brand really in a lot of ways is like consumerism, and brand is like what we buy and what we wear, what we choose to, do all these small little actions. It's all messages to the rest of the world. And so what, so then, somebody going, hey, I got a cookies pack. It's like them showing to the world, hey, I identify with this
Yes,
this
sure.
tribe or whatever like it represents the idea.
Exactly.
But like it feels like it's really like people are down to look cool but not really enjoy any of it, or like just,
Yeah.
you know what I kind of
They'll
not to say like
sacrifice
they don't
the-
enjoy it, but you know what I mean, like
They have to
it's like
enjoy
being
it to
really
a
uncomfortable
point.
in like a fucking like crazy like Gucci belt or something, you know what I mean, like
Yes.
like they're willing to like be like really like or like not be as comfortable as they could be, or have
uncomfortable in some Nike shoes.
yeah,
When they could be wearing some
because they're
comfortable
trying to
shoes.
just flex, right? And so I think
Exactly.
that's where we're heading more and more towards, and I guess hate it or love it. I mean,
Yeah.
I think there definitely are bad parts about that 100%, because it's like, some people are going to eventually get, I think there's a lot of people that have been turned, like I think the long-term future of cannabis is like customized for the individual, because we all, we all are, different, and
It's very crazy what strains do to different people. You find strains that do weird things to you. They don't feel good, or weird anxiety, or
over high.
there's even like sometimes like I swear like Jack Hare used to like mess with my stomach for some reason. I don't know what was in the terp or whatever. I liked it for a bit, and I just feel like it was something weird about it. It didn't settle with my body, and that just took time to realize and whatever. And certain strains that are perfect for your body, and just super specific on the individual. Yeah, and it's like for everyone to think that they have to smoke the same thing is so crazy.
Yeah, it definitely is. It's fascinating though to just kind of see this like in real time kind of happen though.
Yeah, full real time and
yeah, like for real, like
every couple months, strains come and go fast too because of the hype. It doesn't let strains even last for long.
Those eras are going quicker and quicker, kind of like the gelato era was actually pretty long, and then like there was like, and there's like little errors kind of here, like a purple punch kind of over,
Yeah, like, that's like a 1 year thing, 2 years.
1 year
2
thing.
Years. 1 year they find it.
I'm tired of it.
The runs has been interesting because it's been interesting, I guess, with that, because that's been a little like there's a heavy emphasis on fake runs, like the fronts and stuff, like. So I don't know. It's just I'm so fascinated with the whole idea of like what makes a strain like have an era, and then what maintains that era. Like I'm always fascinated by like just like
it's super interesting.
Yeah,
you can dive deep into that. Yeah, and for us, like we didn't make strains for a long time. We were working with Sub for years and never made our own strain. He wanted us to for days, but we're so focused into music. We knew breeding was kind of like a serious thing, like to be a breeder. It wasn't just like someone that just goes and pollen chucks. You know what I mean? That's what everyone calls them, pollen chuckers and stuff. But it's like we were kind of just like it happened to us being around real breeders like Sub and like Exotic Genetics, and going to cups and seeing the DNA guys, and Me and Gene is another one we've looked up to for a long time, like serious breeders and stuff. And for us, like we got into it just being around it, and then, like, our fans wanting us to do it. Like, so many people wanted to buy strains from us, and we're like, we don't make the strain. Like, we're just growing these strains
because
that
they
we
bought
like from
into
other
you,
people.
right? Like that's what
Exactly.
I think like at the end of the day, like that's what, and I think you guys have been, it's been interesting. Like I th- I think that's where you guys have been, like you guys have really created this fan base. Um, but I think you've also kept a lot of your authenticity, through that. If you guys know what I mean by that.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
we
Right.
appreciate that. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
something we for sure think about a lot. Like, it's very easy to not do it or to follow the crowd and whatever. And but there's like so many people like us too that we've learned through the time that we're just being ourselves. Is like there's a huge amount of people like us. There's a huge amount of people like uh, Burner or whoever else out there, or Cypress Hill, like Be Real and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Like it's just like different kind of crowds in the world. Yeah, and like for us, we're never tried to be the biggest or make the most money. We're just try to be like comfortable and do what we want to do and live off the land, kind of. And then it's like there's a lot of people that related to that, and it's cool to see as we reach more people and more people write us and talk to us about them. And it's like when we go to concerts and cups, we people that we meet that are our fans are so similar to us, and it's so trippy, like how that works. And even like going back in the day with like Reek Daddy and the gangster music with like all the dudes from the Crest and Jay Diggs and Mac Dre and all these type of dudes, like that's who we looked up to and we started making music with. But really, like we go to those concerts, it's a totally different vibe for us, and it's not like a lot of people are the same people as us. It's like a totally different crowd, and we
Yeah.
got along with them. And weed also brings everyone together in a cool way where
100%.
you could vibe with like lots of different style people through weed. But
Absolutely,
it's
dude.
crazy having our own thing and how many people are have the same outlook on life or do the same things as us that we meet throughout this journey that we're on.
Yeah, man, it's definitely really cool to see. I think yeah, I think that how would you describe, I guess, you got like your guys is like the just people that are, living off the land that, are, like how would you describe your fan, I guess? Like how would you describe that fan? I'm curious.
I would,
Therefore describing yourself, but
Uh, yeah, I'd say people that are just like people that are like culture orientated and like community based, like that are about like it's not all about themselves. It's like you're thinking about other people. It's like a whole full circle thing going on, and just like I feel like really positive people that don't get trapped in this negative thing that's like that so much of this mainstream and this stuff like pushes people towards like we're just trying to stay in our own lane and do our thing. And like I think that's what's cool, like of how many people are like that. There's a whole side that's not getting tricked
not
by
getting
this whole
conforming to the whole mass. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're
exactly,
not.
yeah, not
Mhm.
just following in suit and follow and being another sheep. Like we're
Yep.
just trying to make our own path in this and live how we want to do it, and just kind of just just keep it real to ourselves and just like what we wanted to be about. I don't know, like
Yeah, and that stands out in today, where everyone's capping, like where
yeah.
everyone's literally like everyone
Yeah.
like where Instagram is here, and like Instagram is literally a platform that's to create curated lives, curated picture perceptions, right? So it's all,
Yes, yes.
yeah,
It's
so
super
that's,
interesting.
sticks out. Yeah, you guys definitely stick out with that authenticity and stuff. So I think that's dope. Um, so let's go into the I want to get into the YouTube music and then a few other things as well. But let's go into, I guess, the music right now, and then we'll get into the YouTube. Real quick, when did you guys start doing YouTube? Because I think this is really fast. I think you guys are pretty revolutionary in this space, or you guys were
uh,
the really first to do that.
I think we first started the channel and it was like 2009.
Yeah, 2009.
2009. Yeah,
I think
Yeah.
it says, yeah. So,
yeah,
which was
super
a
early,
very slow start.
Oh,
very
such
slow.
a
Yeah,
such a slow creep.
Incredibly nothingness. It was just we were doing weed music for sure when we started doing that, but it was pictures with the song playing, not like many music videos.
yeah,
We never started off with a bang ever. It was a very slow organic climb for us.
Yeah, it was so new to us, and like for the whole time, like we've been so like independent with doing so much stuff like ourselves, like as me and Bleezy together, and like the people that helped us along the way, like Reek Daddy, who really got us into music and got our career started, and like helped us put out our first album. But besides that, like the whole marketing side, promoting, editing, all this other stuff. It was all like we didn't know shit about it. Like we had to slowly
By yourself.
learn. Exactly. We had to slowly learn, like, and over time trying to work with certain people that it wasn't working out good, or we just started to realize that we got to really be able to do this ourselves, because we have our vision. Like we know what we need to do, what we're seeing needs to happen. So once we started to get that vision, really, that's when we started like going like really full throttle and figuring out, okay, like it's time to switch it up, and if we do this, then we can see this happening, and really making things work. Because at the beginning we were just like, oh, let's make a CD, let's put it out, and it's gonna blow up, it's gonna get everywhere.
Yeah, just so magically. Like,
yeah, magically. I don't know, we put it out and everyone hears it.
It's super dope. Everyone should love it.
So it took us a while to get in the groove of figuring out like how to really work this whole system of this online game. Like
yeah, but it's good. Yeah. It's good though. You guys had to put that time in, because I mean, dude, there's artists that are Grammy nominated artists that don't know how to do half like that are Grammy nominated or they've won a Grammy or whatever, and they've been in the label system their whole life, and they've been getting low-key fucked over in terms of, for sure, they've lost, guarantee it. It's low-key. It's kind of the whole idea of like, oh, I own your masters. Yes. Creepy, a little slavery kind of like indentured kind of, anyway. Yeah. But I think that's dope. Like I study the music industry quite a bit. I love music, obviously, but I love for some reason the business and a lot of different things just interest me like quite a bit. For sure. But I've studied like really like what these record labels will do. It's like really slimy, like what they'll do to these like young kids.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it's incredible. Yeah, and it's like we've had a couple opportunities to sign to some labels, and then like we had after a lot of years, we ended up meeting Kalu. He did a lot of production and work with Master P back in the day. He made Make Him Say and he did all kinds of Master P CDs.
E40 CDs, Mac Dre.
He did Mac Dre's Stupid Dude or Dumb album. What? So he's done like big albums in the 90s and stuff, and we ended up meeting him like 10 years ago maybe now. Or almost
2012, I think, or maybe even
13 even or something.
Yeah.
I don't know, just somewhere around there. And he really laced us up too, like tremendously, and he talking with him and learning about the industry and stuff, and then like when you really study Master P and shit that, like he is very good at not signing shitty deals and being careful with that stuff. So
have you heard about that whole thing that happened with Universal and him?
Yeah.
People don't know about that, bro. So like my whole thing is like with corporations, like you gotta understand corporations are like, if they're considered individuals by our government because we did Citizens United or whatever, which is obviously, but if they're going to be a person, you got to think of like they're a sociopathic, only thing they want is money, right? Like, yes. So mainly though is like you have like they're going to screw you, so you need to take advantage of them. And so like that's really like how it has to go. And so at Master P, I remember there's this I was sent this story actually to this hip hop YouTuber, Hello Yasin, by the way, shout out to him. Anyway, he did the whole story on it, but that story is wild because I think there's a video of Chameleonaire explaining it, how he like how he's getting because like Master P is getting like getting charged crazy amounts for the marketing budget, right? And this is what they do. Like nowadays, like there's still people that have distribute like they have a packaging and distribution fee.
Yep.
Like they're saying that they're packaging up CDs and they're like, which is just not even there. They press a button, everything is there. Like that's the kind of stuff they'll like put in there because a lot of these,
to this day,
to this day, like I swear to God, like they'll be doing, and then but Master P, he ends up I think the whole story he goes and finds Michael Jackson's lawyer, right? And he's like, how do I do this? And he pays a bunch of money to even like get a conversation with him, and he tells him, you just need to use them for a little bit of distribution, but that's about it. Like you don't really need them past that. Like, and then he does the whole deal where he's like, because back then they did like the insanely large advances, I think, right? Like they do like 50 Cent was kind of the last one that got like the $13 million budget or whatever, and then they don't really do that now. It's whatsoever. But I think also because Master P, one of the reasons for this, but literally he gets this massive advance, right? And he realized he'd been getting stolen from through this marketing, because it's like, I do all the marketing, I do all this stuff that you guys don't do, and you're charging me for it. And so he gets that fat advance, and then he keeps it all, and he goes, "All right, guys, thanks for all getting my money back. I appreciate that," and walks out with all money. And like, he's not allowed in the Universal building anymore, Master P, right? Like, I love that story. So, and Master P is absolutely definitely one of the best to ever do it.
Yeah, it's crazy that working with Kalu is just so sick, because it's like shit that he's been around and the things he's learned. Like, he's told us a story before, like for like 7 beats he did for Master P. Master P owed him like Kalu was charging, I forget how much a beat at this time. It was ridiculous money, and Master P said, "Oh, I just got like a truck of cars, like Ferraris and shit that are getting dropped off." He's like, "You could just take with the Ferrari if you want for the payment I owe you for like 7 beats or something." It's like, holy shit. Master P used to pay a dude full-time salary just to take out the trash in the studio. Like, it was just a small trash can. It's like with papers in it. It's not even like garbage and shit. Like, it was the craziest shit.
They were about their business, no doubt.
Yes.
They were fucking.
It's so cool to be around people like that, and the history of that.
I'm sure that dude absorbed Caleb. I'm sure, because that time period is like really where a lot of what we see today now, it was forming, like a lot of these different structures and stuff, and like learning, because it was still kind of forming before it kind of got hidden away, where some people don't know this info. That's super dope. That's crazy though. Shout out to Mac Dre. Yeah, you said Mac Dre, Master P, E40,
Snoop Dogg.
He did the Snoop CD when Master P brought Snoop out of the label, with Death Row and stuff. It's got the one with him on the seat on the cover with the dogs and shit. I forget what it's
the one where he had to leave Death Row, right? Because he was
exactly he recorded that with Kalu at his studio.
Oh wow! It's down in the
Bay,
Oh, in the Bay. Okay,
he's not in LA. Yeah, he's had a different studio since like back in those days and stuff, but really close. It was like outside of Richmond or something, right outside Oakland or Richmond.
Mm-hmm.
And right now he's like pretty close to that area still. But super nice studio. He's got one of the dopest studios we've ever recorded. He's got I think his board was Elton John's old mix board. It's like a 11-foot long fucking mix board. It's so impressive when you walk in the studio.
You had to take down the wall to get it into the studio. And
when we first went there, we're like, holy shit, we made it. We're like, this bedroom
it felt like,
done.
Oh my god. And it was just so trippy too, because so much of the music that growing up, we listened to Master P and Snoop and Dre and E40 and we looking around on the wall no fucking way, Kalu produced this album. We've been listening to this since we were kids, and there's this sound that we've always really liked, and it was Kalu making this sound. It was
the beats that we've liked more than most all people's beats. We realized after all these years, after we got to know Kalu, it's you made the beats that really stuck in our head.
Yeah, crazy. So it's we're so blessed to be able to meet with him and really build a super cool friendship with Kalu, where we could call him today anytime and talk about stuff, and he's always willing to help us out with contracts and looking over information about business. Kalu, he's the one who really got us super on our music business game, because he's the music, it's a music business, it's 10% talent, it's 90% business. You have to be on your shit to ever make anything work and go right. So that made us okay, we're gonna take this serious, and we've been recording, we've been mastering our craft for years in the studio, so now it's time to master the business side and figure out what we need to do to make this all work good.
Absolutely. You said that's well said, because my perception of it is exactly it's a lot of business, and I'm not big fans of corporations, and I don't like them taking advantage of people, but I do. It's very satisfying when you hear the stories of people that have finessed them, or not even finessed them.
Or just used them the right way. Took advantage of
for sure.
Least,
Exactly. Yeah.
There's so many people that got taken advantage.
Oh, so many people that are literally broke as hell right now.
Yeah.
And they don't even own their whatever. They have maybe one, maybe 2, 3 major hits, and they're broke now, and it's super sad. It's just sad as hell, honestly.
And it proves why one-hit wonders exist. And I mean, even Dr. Dre barely not that long ago he got his masters for his Chronic album. Like,
Yeah,
I
Jay-Z
think
got his
there's-
back too, and
Yeah,
I
it's
think
like-
there's a lot more education starting to come up now with the younger like somewhat. I mean, somewhat. I think like there's somebody named his name is Dorian, or he's Group 82 Music. He's on YouTube. You guys check out his content. It's really like I talked to him actually over Instagram a couple times, but
Okay,
really,
no, I haven't heard of him.
yeah, you should. I'll send you a link to him because he like
Yeah.
I found this guy like 6 months ago, and you guys will fuck with him tough, I think, because he's like,
Nice.
yeah, and he does a lot. Like I learned a lot of stuff from him, a ton of stuff from him and others, but yeah, specifically him. And the independent, it's the independent route's the way to go if you're willing to put in the,
Yeah.
I think,
Yeah.
yeah. I think nowadays it's like, if you're not going to be that one of those top tier artists that are going to be making a ton of money,
Yeah, the dream, the top
exactly, which is like the
1%. Yeah.
exactly
Little
and
Nas
then-
X, Taylor Swift. So.
Yeah, exactly, yeah, like, but even Taylor Swift, like she, her masters were getting, like she had to, you ever see what happened with Taylor Swift's like
Not fully no, but I know.
Scooter
she's
Braun
in that.
like apparently like bought them, right? And anyway, but there's the whole idea of like you can what's it called? It's because it's not even the masters really that's important. It's like the publishing, right? Isn't that?
Yeah, publishing is very.
Because that's where
big
you can
part of it.
re-record yours after 10 years or something, and then
Okay.
so you can do this. You can like re-record, and then you can then promote. You can have your fans go to that album after 10 years because because you'll have the publishing. So then you can just kind of make a whole new copy of it and start to collect money on that and drive the profit
start
that
fresh
way.
again.
Yeah, that's another way to finesse them. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Too Short said a lot back in the day. Listening to Too Short, you get your masters and get your publishing.
Yeah,
that
yeah.
stuck with us. Like, okay, we got to make sure we do that.
100%. Yeah, and it also forces you to like learn and be like stuff that you wouldn't have to learn, if like even some of these top stars they know, but like I don't know, I don't think. Anyway, yeah, no,
But you're right too. It's like there's the dream of being like as big as the biggest people are.
Yeah.
But the people that so many people get signed that never make it to that point, and they're just like shelved. Like how many people get shelved?
Yeah.
Even like Lady Gaga, she got shelved like 2 or 3 times from different people before they finally gave her a chance to pop. And what she did over like her career after being shelved and shit. It's like. It would be crazy to get signed and be so happy, and then they shelf your album for like 3 years because they got other people they're working with still.
Yeah, like we don't have time. We whatever.
Say, wait, what just?
But you still
happened?
can't put anything out.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can't do your own music
Yeah,
either.
you're kind of just
What?
in limbo right now.
Yeah, it's
The music industry is super shady, and it's funny because now the weed industry is super
it's just
shady.
like it, dude. It's
And
very.
we're-
That's
side
why
by
I study the
side.
music industry, bro. I'm telling
Yeah.
you, and that's why I talk about the music industry a lot in this because I bring up like with any like with anybody that's with cannabis and music, I always bring up the record label, like just because I mean it's just like I think an important thing to talk about too because it's
Yeah, it's good to share your knowledge
yeah,
on it.
and it's getting and it's there's different. Like it's getting more advanced with like the crazy shit that like the 360 deals that like Leo
Yeah.
Cohen brought in, like those are wild. Like
yeah, that's
oh yeah,
super shady stuff.
That's-
shady Nate.
Yeah.
yeah, it's like you're getting half the show money. Like that's crazy, dude. Like
Yeah. On top of all the stuff that you've already
Yeah.
done.
Yeah, it's like that's their main-
previously,
yeah.
like-
And you see their side of it too, where it's like you were no one before we made you big. Now you're in a movie. We don't get no money from that.
Yeah, dude.
It's so shady, but it's like it's such a tricky little spot. It's funny now that the weed's gone the way it's gone because now we're in 2 kind of real cutthroat industries all at the same, like our whole lives in the 2 hardest things to do almost.
you guys really are. Hey, but hey, doesn't kill you, makes you stronger. Right?
Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly,
Yeah.
yeah.
Just constantly. We've watched. We stay learning all the time. We watched documentaries and interviews from big artists that we look up to all the time. We're
Yeah.
constantly
I got-
soaking up game.
Yeah, and I've learned some lessons, like even kind of recently too. Like I always like once you get once you get fucked up, it's people can get fucked over multiple times over and over. That's kind of the person's probably kind of stupid, but to not like say like that, but yeah, no, you learn. It's a learning lesson for sure. That's how you should take it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
a lot of things to learn. Constantly learn.
Yeah, 100%. But going back though, 90% business, 10%, which probably varies. But yeah, business is a massive part of it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why so many people wonder why these people are so whack on the radio. It's like, well, their business is on point.
Yeah, they're definitely not talented, but their business is talented.
Yeah, so it's very true though. Yeah, it's very true.
It's
well,
crazy too what people
yeah.
could sound like if they recorded themselves too. Like some of these big artists, like
Oh my
if
God.
they had the chance, if they weren't getting done by a real producer, like producers get shit for credit to what songs sound like. You know,
They make these people sound like
Oh, yeah.
so. It's crazy. It's like, man,
never
on
know
regular,
you can mix that well, like master that shit
Yeah,
so
on
well.
on a
like-
regular
It's
setup, they try to
incredible.
do this, and you'd be like, this guy is garbage. But then they get into the big studio, nice mic, all the perfect effects and auto tunes.
it's always
and lining
cracks
it
us up. Like
And it's like, damn, this sounds like crispy, clean music.
Yeah. No, it's true. You're actually, yeah, because I'll record myself when I'm just like freestyling for fun, and I'm like, damn, that does not sound that good. But I swear, if I were to hand it to somebody mastering it,
yeah,
If someone
Hey,
else
I
knew what they
could-
were doing,
I could blow up, man. You
yeah,
know,
they can make me sound real good. You can make me sound like anybody you can think of.
yeah, which person you want to be like?
I'll be like, "Cha-ching." You wanna be like this guy?
Really,
it
we're just,
is wild. Yeah, the
we were
producers
just-
are slowly getting more credit, but yeah,
yeah, they are. Yeah, thank God, because they
Slowly,
do
but-
so much work.
Yeah, they're working their
so much
magic.
work.
Yeah.
Super magic. We're
It's
actually
funny, like-
bumping the song
yeah.
you sent earlier before we started this.
I'll play you guys. I'll send you guys some better stuff.
For sure.
That-
I
There's
just be
still a
like
cool
messing around,
groove
you
to
know.
it.
So
It's got a cool groove still, though.
I can, we gotta. So we still gotta do that collab though. I'll
Way down.
I want to go because I can do like there's a style that I have that you like. I think you were told me about at the beginning, like that you could kind of hear a little bit in one part when I'm like, but yeah, we'll at that too. Yeah, I don't know, dude. I'm sorry, man. I grew up in the because you guys are 10 years older than me. I mean, I went through high school though, dude. We were listening to Gucci, Waka, Chief
Yeah.
Keef,
Mhm.
like the.
Yeah.
And so, but more so what I'm saying is just the melody, right? Less so
Yeah.
the lyricist, more so
Yeah.
the melody, right? And so I guess that's kind of, I don't, but it's also, I realized too, like nowadays it's now kind of come full circle where it's like now you need both kind of to be
For
really
sure.
like top tier, I guess, in a sense. But
It is. It's
Yeah, for
funny
sure.
how as
Yep.
we older we get, you see the circle a lot easier now. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, that shit's happened before. I've heard him talking about this shit comes around, and now you see it a lot coming
Yeah.
around for sure.
yeah, history definitely repeats, or like core concepts kind of do. But
Yeah.
no, absolutely, dude. Quick question: Do you guys have a take on who do you guys like more, CLB or Donda? Kanye West or Drake's album? You guys?
Really, we don't even bump none of those dudes.
I
Yeah,
haven't heard
I was.
none
That's
of
what I
it
was
yet.
curious about. Yeah.
Yeah, like we'll listen to like I'm he's more picky than me, I guess, because I'm in the producer mode. So I'm like, whatever the artist is, I really don't care that much.
You just
the
want to
beat
hear what the
sucks me
producer's
in.
doing.
Yeah, and I want to hear
Yeah.
what they're doing, what new. Like I like to hear new music for the
There's some crazy stuff in
inspiration.
in the Donda, in both of them, like in terms of
I bet.
production wise. In
There
production
has to
wise,
be.
there's some
Yeah.
some dope stuff.
Yeah, that whole new Kanye thing was tripping me out, and I didn't know what kind of stunts he was pulling in his little like listening party things till recently. I heard someone talking shit about it. I'm like, well, I gotta look into this, and I'm like, well, what is he doing? Like he's sitting on a phone on the bed sleeping while hundreds, thousands of people watch him sleep while he listens to his CD or some shit. Like, what the hell's going on?
It's
I was blown away by what he gets away with. And then I saw the album finally dropped, but I haven't listened to it yet. I was also blown away by the cover. It's like, this dude seriously just dropped a black cover. Like, people have done it before, but I think there's always like a logo somewhere. But this is just
no, yeah, he's testing it, bro. He's testing the limits of how far he can.
Yeah.
His sheep will follow him for. Yeah, no.
it's
I'm not even that
nuts.
big. Like I love Kanye because I love his music, but like I'm sorry, dude. The reason why I'm Team Drake. There's kind of this whole thing going on, But the reason why I'm Team Drake, well, there's other reasons for that. But like, dude, I'm not buying into this. The biggest narcissist in the world, bro. And I just, everyone's like, oh, he's so brilliant. He's so brilliant. He's a brilliant producer, and that's like, and I guess he's good at leveraging that into other things. But like he didn't design the Yeezys. He didn't design any of that. Like those are the people that he hired. So there's I guess props to him there. And he's now it's so funny to me, honestly, the irony of like how he surpassed Jay-Z in wealth just by like like just kind of like just Jay-Z's known as like kind of this like meticulous making business moves, like continuously been making business moves, like really like on his way up. And
Very
then like
smart,
one day
yeah.
Kanye starts Yeezy, and then like 2 years later just shoots up to like a $7 billion valuation past Jay-Z. And like
That's so weird, yeah, because they were talking about that shit about to happen on us. He was like bankrupt, and they're like, no, his money's really coming, or they're some shit, because I don't pay too much attention. I'm like, what the hell?
It's
insane.
the power of brand though nowadays, dude. That's what it
Yeah,
really
it's
shows me, dude. We're in that,
ginormous.
yeah. It's
I mean,
crazy.
even to Dr. Dre, to him
Yeah.
to make more money off the headphones than anything he's ever done, it's like, are you kidding me? Like,
Yeah.
that's crazy money that you can make off a different avenue just because you're
100%.
big at what you've done already.
Yeah.
It's so savage.
It's well, the one thing that I remember that the Dorian group 82, I can't remember the exact, yeah, group anyway, group 82, he made this kind of clear to me. It was like, for if you're an artist, like at the end of the day, like making money off the music, that's not 9 times out of 10 or almost 10 times out of 10, that's not going to make you like long-term like real wealth. It's really what that is, that gives you the platform to leverage in other things, right? It gives you the platform to build up a following, to then leverage that in a business deal with another into another industry, or
for sure,
all that. And now there's not to say people that don't make bread on like their music, obviously, but like, and also like long, like the forever, like having your family own masters and then publishing forever, like that's slow, that will be money like reoccurring, right? But forever, whether it be smaller, somewhat, it's little
pretty much some of the music it will last forever.
It will, yeah, like the fact that there's that company that's been buying out all these people's catalogs. Like there's this one VC that bought out, like, I think Lil Wayne's for 100 million.
Damn.
I think the Rolling Stones for 200 or something, like, or Bob Dylan for like 200 million. All the same VC. So what they're betting on really is the long-term, accruing of, and I'm sure, they've done the math on it, so they think it's worth it. But, and they all sold because it was right before Biden was about to come in, so they're worried taxes are going to go higher. But it's crazy with that. But let's get into I want to talk about, this is kind of what I'm talking about, like with you guys, I think are very revolutionary. I think one of the very first people to really do this is like like leveraging YouTube, and like you guys did this like before a lot of even like not just in cannabis, but like rappers in general. Like I guess it started 2009. When did you guys start your guys' like your guys' series and all the different kind of showcasing the growing and how did that kind of come up?
Yeah, that thing when you started talking about YouTube thing, the next thing after that, it's very slow climb and stuff, and then never really put weed videos out there of like specifically saying this is our garden. We might have filmed in someone else's garden or some shit for a music video, but to go past that and start to do like real garden documentaries and teaching people about stuff too was after Subcool. Like Subcool did that a lot. He was really serious about promoting weed and sharing his knowledge and stuff, and he came up to our farm after we got to know him, and he was just blown away on the size of the garden, the size of the plants, and for a 25 plant garden, he was so tripping out, and it was so cool to see him trip out on it, because he was like a guru of weed to us, and then he sees what we really do, and he's like, holy shit, now he looks up to us almost more.
Look at what you guys are doing with my strains out here. Holy
I didn't know my strain could do this good and all this shit. Like, dude, these plants just do good.
I would have never thought that a crazy train could get this fucking big. He's like, holy shit.
And then, like, he came, filmed the garden, and then I believe it was that same year that he came to the garden. That's when we got raided.
Yeah, it was.
The year before, we pulled off a cool garden. We were getting to know him, but then he came to the garden in 2013.
Yeah, early 2013, when Sub actually, the first time that he had came up and started bringing out his camera, and we did some filming, because we got to chop it up with him a few times before that. We would go over to his house. We hung out a few times, and then he actually came out to the garden and started filming.
Yeah, and it was for sure weird for us to
it was trippy
to say this is our garden and whatever, and
knowing that he's gonna put it on his channel where all these people are gonna see him. Like we never really put our garden on blast.
It goes against all of the opposite.
It does, because there's a lot of people in our town who are like, you guys are fucking stupid, and then we got raided that year, and so many people are like, yeah, because your dumbasses are on YouTube showing your garden and shit, but it really had nothing to do with that, and that was even crazy to know that it didn't have nothing to do with it too. Even Subcool was tripping. He was like, dude, are they gonna take your hard drives or like backtrack shit and like FBI style stuff? We're like, no, they just take your shit and leave. Like
Yeah.
they're not investigating us.
They don't do anything productive at all. Like,
yeah,
whatsoever.
they're not trying to find it. They're just got the
They're just
They're
plan.
destroy shit, dude. Yeah.
Yeah. So
They're
then
there to
after
do
that,
crazy.
after that happened, and it was 25 plants that was supposed to be legal under the Prop 215 and stuff, but the cops said they were too big, and then so they took them all.
What? That sounds
Yeah,
like
they're-
bullshit. That sounds like they just.
Yeah, they said that the amount of weed, like the size of them, it's like the amount of weed it was gonna be was way more than the legal side was permitted that we needed to have or we were supposed to
I
have.
don't. They don't do size requirements. Those then they didn't. They just did numbers,
No,
right? So that's just bullshit. So that was
it
just
was-
some crazy bullshit.
It was
yeah.
just like the way the cops are up here. They don't.
That's
They
wild.
do whatever they want to do. There's nothing
They're-
you could even say unless
they're
you're
shady.
really to get into like. The only thing you can really do, like when you're getting a gunfight with the cops, because then you're going to have a charge. Then other cops are going to care. But really, you can't tell them to stop doing something. You can't tell them, I have a lawyer and I'm going to sue you guys. They don't give a shit about
Yeah,
none of that.
They
Oh,
don't.
no,
Yeah, and
yeah,
they're
there's
gonna.
like-
Yeah.
And then they'll drag your. That's the other problem too. Like once we got raided, they didn't even give us a ticket or nothing. But then a couple months later, we got a letter in the mail saying that we're going to get charged with the garden and we could do a voluntary meeting with the DA here in our town and stuff. And we're like, what the fuck? I thought this shit was over. And we talked to Sub, we talked to other people like that we were friends with Granddaddy Perp and stuff. He's been in trouble with the law a bunch of times. And they say you should go to the meeting, just get a lawyer, see what they're talking about. And then we go to the meeting and hear their bullshit. And that's when he said, yeah, that you guys got in trouble because the cops said you have too much pounds for a 25 plant garden. That you guys are too good at farmers.
You guys are just too good at growing.
It was
Too
the
good at
funniest
farmers.
quote. Yeah, that
Motherfuckers.
you're too good at it, and it
How
was,
dare
like,
you.
it was the funniest thing ever to happen to it. And then they say and then after they dropped the case, they mostly just wanted us not to retaliate against them. What was the funny part? Which we had no money to do that.
Yeah,
Anyway.
they
Just
just
took
took
all our
it.
shit.
All our shit was
I know a number of
invested.
stories where people have done that, dude, and every single one of them have because I've gone in like different places in the country. Like there was one in Colorado that like a story like where they did some crazy shit to him, and he was like, I'm gonna go like fight it. He had the money to do it. Fucked him completely over. Ended up in jail like through a long
Damn.
series of other stuff.
Yeah.
But like, dude, it was crazy. Yeah, no. I think nowadays I think it's definitely doable, but back
Yeah, more
then I
doable
don't think
now,
it
yeah.
would have smart. Yeah.
No, I think we would have been.
Yeah.
They would have fucked us on
Oh, yeah,
everything we had. They
It
would
would've
have been
made
years
them-
and years of bullshit.
Yeah, dig deeper into what we were doing and what we had, because at the time, like that was before we started really getting on our proper business game too.
Mhm.
So we had all kind of shit that were like could be red flags here or this is not like
Yeah, it was like even like when they took cash from the house, like a good amount of the cash was actually
Fucking
music
cops,
money,
dude.
and it's
Fucking
like
cops, yeah.
we tell them no, this like we didn't tell them, but it's like half that money is weed, half that money is music. Like let us keep our music money. They don't. There's no fucking proof. We have no.
Yeah, we didn't have no
Shit.
paperwork because we didn't have shit together yet. So it was like we couldn't even say that is really music money. You can't take that.
So that was another slap in the face to be like, man, we got to take this shit more serious. And then after we get raided too, and they say that you guys are too good at farmers, you can't do 25 plants like normal people. You can only do 6. Like 6 is your limit now.
What?
If we catch you guys doing more than 6, you're getting in trouble this time and blah blah blah. And
Hey
then at that
man, that's crazy.
point, it was like, well, Sub's fucking our super homie. He's putting us on the internet already. If we can only do 6 plants and we want to like be in a forefront or like continue to talk to people and instead of being on the underground and hiding in the mountains doing big gardens, we're like, we'll just do the 6 and we'll blast it.
Yep.
Full blown.
We'll
film our whole fucking life now. Like
we'll show people how to maximize these plants.
yeah,
and
we'll show them what 6 plants can do. Like how
Dope.
much, like teach people how to grow too big.
I love
trying to
that.
overgrow the
I
planet.
I
And
love
it was,
that.
that's
The pivot there is dope. That's fucking brilliant. Yeah.
yeah. It was like I was like, or we had 2 chances: we stay underground and grow and make money, or we go into the internet like full blast on our music and showing people what we do
Yeah.
and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's a lot of motivation there too once you decide like
Yeah,
Yeah.
you
hell
gotta
of
like
a
I
lot.
got it. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
It's
100%.
like fuck these cops. Yeah.
And
Oh,
that
fucking crazy,
that
yeah.
made the whole music side of it go so much deeper into like the cannabis culture, lifestyle, and like what we were talking about. It was like now we were coming in with some anger and some rage and shit that's been happening. Where we're gonna speak about this is type of shit that's happening to farmers all over where we're at. This happens, you know, yearly. Like harvest comes up
dozens
every day. People are getting hit down the
Mhm.
block. This guy. They're just fucking with people and taking things and doing people super dirty. So we just wanted to start talking about that on song form too, instead of not just talking about it on video in the garden, but we're gonna actually put this on wax and blast these guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Also, too, I think like just hardships in general, great for music. I mean, you know.
Oh, it's always for sure. Yeah, you see how that works. Yeah.
Yeah, no, 100%. Like experiences in general, but you know, within that, I think hardships. Really quickly before we go continue with the YouTube thing, I want to just ask you a quick question. I'm curious what your guys' are thoughts on this. What's your guys' thoughts with like a lot of the, in terms of, you know, I see there's certain, you know, maybe a little bit more back in the day or whatever. There's like, you know, kind of rappers kind of being used. Well, rappers in general have been used as like laundering money wise. Like they've been used as tools for that kind of forever. But you know, when I look at, and obviously not talking about you guys whatsoever, but you know, there's people that, you know, I'm not gonna name any name or whatever, but there's people that I'm kind of like initially, I think they initially got into it because of they were being laundered through. You guys, is that like a thing? Is that a thing you think that would happen or no? Is that you actually don't have to comment on that. That's kind of a.
I mean, I don't know. I think for sure, yeah, lots of mafia gangster shit. People need to put their money in something, yeah. So they figure out a way to have a legal business that could.
Do you think that's why we have a lot of rappers in the industry, or no? Is that?
I think for like probably with like coke music or coke dealing and shit like that, there's probably is a lot of rappers, that are in
the volume of money
and,
is not as high in cannabis, obviously.
It's like there's a lot of money out there, but the farmer in general is the seller of like middlemen and the shit that those kind of dudes in the storefronts make a lot more money, it seems like, than the farmer somehow, which just doesn't still make sense to me, but it's hella true.
Yeah, it's gonna continue to get like that too. It's gonna get worse and worse, fortunately. Unless you know, stay together, we help each other. I think that's really key. But let's get back to the YouTube. So like, you guys finally, you go just the 6 plants. You're now, you know, like, let's just film it all. Let's go really hard on this music. Let's go really hard with this content. What year was that roughly? I'm curious.
Like 2014.
Yeah, I think 2014 when we started
100%
filming our own stuff. And
like 2014 or 15 is when we did our like first like how to grow mental dope like on YouTube kind of thing, and kind of made it into named it or whatever, instead of random videos or updates on what we do. It was kind of like trying to call it
start
something.
To a series, I guess. Or,
yeah, absolutely. And I think you know, you guys are definitely one of like the main people that like pop into my head when it comes to like cannabis and music, you know, together. I mean, you know, there's Burner obviously, but I think you guys are really unique because you guys are the actual, you know, you're doing it instead of like a vlog or whatever. It's like you guys are like a vlog of like touring or something. It's like it's like of you guys doing the ground, you know what I mean? So I think that's super dope. I think that's like very unique of you guys. I think that's why I think when did you start like so when did you start to see a lot of success with that? Like when did you realize like, oh, like we're onto something here?
It was probably like, I mean, pretty much like in that similar time, we could tell it was a big change on like 2014, 15 or whatever, when it's like more people are for sure, we're getting more views and stuff, and more comments and more feedback on things and things like that. And then the music changed around that same time too, where it went full blown weed farming music instead of like weed music with some gangster rap music in the mix too, because of who we grew up with and listening to. That Oldie was still writing a lot of kill people raps, you know what I mean? And that was like, we got love for it for some people, but really the masses and stuff were like, it wasn't like there was so much people like loving the songs or something like that. It was cool songs to make, and for like, it's not like Reek Daddy was super famous either, but Reek was the most gangsterous rapper that there was. And I mean, there's no rapper, I don't think even to this day, like that's like as a gangster rapper like him, like The Game or like any of these dudes, they ain't as gangster as Reek Daddy was. Like he was seriously like the shit he said and the way he said his raps were so raw and so fucking sick on his mode. And like there's like Brother Lynch and other people that do like murder crazy raps, and that's like more horror movie shit, like
Horrorcore.
yeah, it's like Reek was like the real gangster rapper and stuff. So like
That's wild.
took a while for Old E to find his own niche, and even Reek would always like push us to be ourselves too. He was always like he liked us so much more than so many people that were around him, because we never tried to act black and said the N word all the time like so many other white people and stuff. There's only like one white dude where he was from that got the pass for that shit, and he was like
And
born
that dude
in
shouldn't have
the
taken the
crutch.
pass, bro. I've gone the pass many times, and it's like, because I grew up, I grew up around a lot of people, a lot of white people. It's just like don't do it, bro. Like,
It just don't. Yeah, it's
For
always
sure,
do it. Don't. It's like they're almost setting you up, like as like my homies.
Yeah,
They would kind of fuck around with me, like my bro
it's-
Bell.
yeah.
You'd be like, "Yo, just say it. Dude. It's fine." I'm like, "No, dog." Like,
Yeah,
and
they-
like if I and like we
Yeah.
had homies who would say it, and we'd be like, bro, like you get all mad, it's all this shit. But nah, bro, it's just
Yeah.
you don't want to have that. It's also so cringy, bro. It's super cringy when you hear that, like from
Yeah, just
For sure,
there's
yeah.
different people we've been around that I have no problem saying it, and they even get like they say it around black people, and they don't get called out on it a lot of times.
yeah, but
but
it's like
it's just never seemed like it was
Yeah.
our lane.
That's not who we are. That's for sure.
yeah,
We
it's
look
also
up to
like if
that
they go to
shit.
somewhere else, like that's probably the group of friends that you're talking about. Those
Exactly.
people go
Yeah,
anywhere else,
you-
bro. You about to
Yes,
What'd
a
you
lot
say?
of places,
Yeah.
yeah, where that shit wouldn't fly. Yeah,
yeah. So
and we're around dudes that were like they're the real deal. Like they all have guns. They all they're drinking and driving and smoking, and no one's got a license and
They're
fucking
slanging dope on the corner.
They get cop encounters, and like Reek Daddy fucking was selling drugs on the corner one time, and a cop lady was fucking with him talking shit, and she broke his arm. He was fucking with her so hard and resisting arrest, she snapped his fucking arm.
Yeah, he on one of his album covers, I think it's the Super Thug. He's on the cover throwing up the T, and he's wearing a cast. And that was after he got his arm broken.
Yo, that's savage, bro. That's
It was
crazy, dude.
Crazy shit, dude. It was so sad.
Yeah.
We would be in the hood with these dudes and drive by, and there's a car on fire next to the neighborhood, and
Yeah.
SWAT teams raided the neighbor's house. It was like, holy shit, we're in this stuff we used to listen to all the time. We're like fully in the middle of
Seems
it.
really cool, huh? Now, right? Like,
And there was homies that would go, because we started selling weed to Reek in the beginning. That's how we met him. And there's homies that we would go down there with that stopped going. It was just me and Daniel at the end. Like we're the only ones that were still down for hanging out. There's another homie, our homie Twink too. He would come through still, but a lot of people were like, fuck this. It's too real.
Yeah, no,
it's not really my shit over here.
Yeah,
tripping on this.
it's definitely once you get I've had a few guns put in my face, man, and it's like like shit in your pants, bro. It's just like
Yeah, and it's
a lot of that stuff's not dope.
It's it's so fast. It can happen so fast. It's not worth it at all.
It's super
These
not
days
worth it.
even more than when we were hanging out there too. Like
It's
so
really
many-
not worth it now. Like there's
There's
absolutely.
crazy amount of gun violence in cities
Yeah.
and stuff. That's what's so nice about out here too. Which there's a lot of weird shit that happens even in Mendo, of different things similar to that, but just like not nearly as crazy as
Not as
certain
often,
cities.
Yeah.
too, that's for sure.
It's crazy. It seems like the music. So like, I want to do like a little like video essay or like a documentary on this, but it seems like the music is getting more and more demonic. Like, and I think it because I was a freshman when Chief Keef's that's that shit I don't like came out, and then you kind of get exposed to the whole like drill scene in Chicago and how like Chirac and stuff, and then like then what really though is like you start to hear like the name Tuca, right? Like Tuca, and like this famous thing now. It's like it's like that was an op of Chief Keef that was murdered, like a young like 15-year-old kid or something at like a bus stop, and like they literally now like it turned into like a worldwide like, oh, I'm smoking on the Tuca pack, which is like, and so this whole like thing like we're smoking on this pack, like like that whole kind of thing you heard, like that's from that like from originating from that, and so. And they've like people I guess may have said that before, but like I think it popped like with the internet age and stuff. It really, and so now like what's become like like for example like the music like with like now with with like you know, now that the record labels have seen after, you know, Young Boy and like a couple other examples where gangster, because they've kind of come out of, there's, you have to be gangster rapper to make it in like that, in that like that specific part of the market, which seems so shitty. Like you have to put on this whole like, you know, thing where, you know, you have to be, you know, super gangster. But once they figure that out, and you know, now the name drops of like literal people that have been murdered, you know, it's like, you know, Little Dirk recently is like, you know, like my PO asked me how high I get, and I look at her, I tell her like, oh, I get high as Duck. Duck is another rapper who, you know, that was murdered, and like you hear, then you see like the mom like talking about like, you know, like crying, like why are you, you know, you literally won, like stop with that. It gets really, it's like really demonic, you know, and it's crazy though, because it's like there's all these ecosystems built off it now. Like there's YouTubers now that are like, you know, there's a YouTube called Trap Geek who like just covers this, like, you know, people like, it's crazy now that like, you know, all these like, it's really record labels at the end of the day, they're gonna make a ton of money off these gangster rappers that are either gonna end up dead or in jail if they keep, you know, at this point.
Yeah, for sure.
And they don't have to pay any of the residuals. They don't have to, you know, it's that fucked. It's like that it's fucked up. It's like
perfect circle. Yeah,
perfect for them, dude. So and it's, but it's also crazy how like, you know, we kind of, you know, like I listen, you know, like I'll listen, you know, I listen to those, like, you know, so it's, you know, I try not to, you know, promote it like really, but like, I don't know. It just seems like getting fucking demonic, dude. It just seems very.
Yeah, it makes sense for sure. There's they like to keep people down. The record companies, they use the shit to keep us in the circle.
Yeah. And, they've definitely expanded. They've definitely like made that. You know, they've seen what those can do, and I think they've put money behind all these different things that'll continue that and proliferate it. You know, which
it's
is
like, look at the
way in your face these days from what it used to be. They're a lot more sneaky and subtle with certain things where like they always promoted, you know, sex and drugs and violence like from the beginning, but it seems like over time and these days with like certain things, you know, like WAP and these different songs that are coming out, it's like, dude, this shit is like right in your face hardcore these days. They ain't even hiding it. And this obviously this is going to all the fucking little kids that are listening to this music.
Yeah, 100%. I think really what's powerful now, and this is what I think has been kind of powerful, and I think this is the negative, but it's like because of YouTube, where they have these people reporting on the stories and telling the beefs between the two sides, and like the literal, like down to a fucking T, like, you know, who did this, like that's the literal, and then they hear the music and that two together, right? If you're consuming both, very powerful, and it's gonna it's only gonna get worse probably.
It sucks because like look at the beginning of hip hop, it was like very positive, you know what I mean? It was so much positive stuff. KRS-One and these other people are.
Shout out to KRS-One, by the way, he's from Seattle.
That's dope. Yeah, like people
hopefully
like
we get to work with him one day.
Yeah, we've been wanting to sort of figure out get his link and get some kind of connection with that, so do a song with him, because it's like positive music. There's no famous positive people, you know what I mean? Like who's like a mainstream artist that's positive? A lot of the main, besides the demonic stuff, a lot of music seems like it's like depression, like they're talking about how depressed they are and how they're like in that mode and shit, like,
exactly. And which is like, dog, you're which I like. Yeah, I think there's a combination of like people with modern day media and like movie, like all that, and I think there's a strong correlation with that, and then how, you know, we want to kind of virtue signal out to the world, like, hey, like I have this hard life, or this, you know, like I'm, you know, which, you know, like all like I also think the depression part is kind of a counter to like, you know, not being, you know, not having to like, you know, really grow up in the hood, you know, not having those problems with it, but still wanting to create problems for yourself, kind of. For sure. So it's maybe like, there's that. I don't know. Yeah. But less positive. No, I completely agree though with the like, you know. But the thing is, you know, like, you know, it's just like, it's you're right. It's not as positive, and it's.
Yeah, like, know, like I mean, maybe like Drake is like not a negative rapper, but he's like
getting money, kind of like
loving
being a dog about girls. Like he's like dog
like,
girls. That's
like
it.
Sex and money. Yeah.
I was gonna say, like, someone like Logic. You know, Logic spit some.
He was different. Shit. He was maybe one of the bigger ones that's made it to the top. Yeah, that's.
But he got clowned for it, which is pretty sad. Like in this sense, right?
Clowns. Yeah.
But that's the thing, though. Is I think, you know, though, like he's done some things though where he's gotten some of those people back. That's like you know, clown. Like
Yeah.
I saw recently he did this like really positive take on like Joe Budden, who like just was it was really greasy the way he was talking about him. And he completely just anyway, it's a whole thing. But no, at the end of the day though, positivity is gonna bring you positivity and energy.
Yes,
and like,
that's what's cool about
so
staying in that lane.
you gotta say, I think that's the thing is like, like I'm at, like, for example, Little Dirk, how many of his family members have like died? It's like really sad. It's like super sad. I don't know. You put the energy in, you're gonna get out. That's what.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we realized too with like working with Reek and doing the concerts that we would do, and there's always something crazy going on, a fight or whatever, and then we do weed shows and we get all weeded out and more positive kind of light on things. And it's like you could have 50,000 people at a High Times Cup, not one fight has broken out. It's like there's such a huge crowd that would be like, how is there no one beefing? And there's no one.
That's
everyone's
crazy.
in such a different vibe. It's so crazy to see.
I love that. Real quick. Oh fuck, man. We're an hour and a half real quick, dude. Damn, that means we're having a good. That means this is one of my favorite podcasts so far.
Yeah, time flies sometimes.
Yeah, this has been cool. Yeah, I knew like watching some of your stuff. I told old E about like when I was telling about your Amazon one and the Jungle Boys one you have. I'm like, this dude's cool, dude. Like, he's got a cool videos that you put together are really cool. Yeah, cool outlook on things.
We'll have to do one on you guys here in the future, man.
Yeah, I like how you put those together. Like, it's always been cool, like watching the VH1 behind the scenes and that kind of shit back in the day. It's like, man, when we get one of these about us, like a pro one, that's gonna be so sick to like just watch it if they put that shit together, dope, or however it would get put together. It's just cool to see like someone's life kind of put on that 100%. Documentary style, like
yeah, it's hard. It's funny. I call it like mini documentaries because it's easier for everyone to kind of understand. They're really like video essay analysis / storytelling. Like that's really be more specific about it. But like I'm working on one right now that's like the first real documentary. It's interviewing, but like I just like to analyze stuff. So the whole kind of thing is the concept of high design is really not only to tell these people's stories, but to tell how these people's stories then affected their moves in business, and their whatever where have they innovated, where have they, where's their value for other entrepreneurs to soak up and potentially use, and it's all these are all focusing on legacy, like people from the culture, right? Because this is the day that I do one on Cureleaf is the day that I've officially sold out, which I don't think I could do. I'm way too stubborn, honestly, of a person. So
yeah, like that Ignite dude, huh? What's up with Ignite? I haven't seen nothing from him in a bit, but he was trying hard, and no one fucking gave two shits about him in the weed industry.
Well, because
I think he moved to more pharmaceuticals now, which is good for him because he doesn't have to rep it so hard. It can be on the under.
Yeah. Well, I think it was I think part of it was also like it was also a kind of a scam, like because his dad was part of the company who was arrested in the 80s for Wall Street fraud, like and so I think they still have a brand. I think they're still trying to. I believe
they would be still, but I don't know if they're doing what they were in the beginning because it seems like they got no love, and that's what's so cool about the cannabis community. Weed makes you see through shit and make you think for yourself or just understand things.
Yeah. You're
and
right.
It's way harder to trick weed people than alcohol or cigarettes consumers or whatever else's product it would be.
100%. And I bet a decade or two ago, I bet a generation or two ago, probably would have been kind of. It's can't really like compare it in terms of that, but we are in this crazy time where I'm sure like a lot of the bootleggers were like kind of like, you're not about the culture, like some kind of in that essence, but now with the internet though, it's different.
Much, huh?
It's different here.
It's a totally different monster.
Cannabis is so different. People I always talk to. I'm like you really don't you're like underestimating like how big cannabis is about to be. Like you really don't understand how big this is about to be.
It's so fucking huge. Yeah,
it's bigger. Yeah, I see all these estimations of different numbers, and I'm like, keep going. Like I think I'm actually not even joking, because it's like the applications that we haven't even,
Yeah, we haven't even tried to, like, you could, like, people make fucking houses out of the fucking weed.
It's about to replace alcohol. It's gonna replace alcohol eventually, dude. In
Yeah,
a lot
for
of
sure.
ways.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
'cause,
slowed down alcohol drinking and cigarette smoking already. Like, if there was a way to figure it out, it's fucked them up. So, and it's
yeah.
just started. Yeah, because so many people are scared about breaking the law. As soon as it's not breaking the law, it's over again.
Well, I think a lot of people are worried about their jobs. I think that's a big
Jobs
part.
is huge. Yeah, getting
That's
tested. Once you
yeah.
can get smoke on the weekend and have
Yeah.
a dirty test that's like not dirty that day, but you've had weed in your system.
Yeah.
2
Well,
weeks
it's just like,
ago,
yeah,
you
they're
went on
exactly.
vacation or some shit.
Yeah,
It's like if you
you
get off work and you have a drink, you should be able to get off work and be able to have a puff.
Absolutely, dude.
Yeah, and
Absolutely.
that'll change the game when they can do a better test, I guess, or whatever would change about
it's still
that.
far off, I think, for sure, but it will get there eventually.
When it gets there, that's another big turning point for sure.
Absolutely. A lot of people are, I know, because a lot of people hit me up about just all types of things, and a lot of just typical consumers, right? They're they're like, yeah, I have my dad, my dad even, my friend literally, actually the homie Evel, that same dude I was talking about, he actually, actually not to put him on blast, but he ended up not getting a job because weed.
Yeah,
like,
and that sucks. Yeah,
fucking Seattle, shitty. Dog. Like,
at this day and age,
yeah.
It's like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah. So that kind of, that kind of blows my mind. So I guess, I'd love to have you guys back on, but you guys cool with like 10-15 more minutes?
Yeah, we
cool.
can bust another 10-15.
Sweet. I'm curious, so what are some, I guess, do you guys have any like future, like what are your guys' future kind of you have future plans, kind of what are your kind of, you guys have any goals or to just keep growing, kind of what you guys have done?
We've been talking about a bunch of different things and figuring things out of what we really want to do, looking into this future of how the game is shifting and changing and just trying to evolve with it. Definitely we're always gonna keep growing and doing the music stuff. We have a lot of plans with new projects in the works, with like just doing our thing ourselves, and then with the full band projects, and really looking forward to the day when things get a little back to normal on show wise, where we could actually get out there and do more like touring and come travel out and see people again. It's been so long and so much stuff has gotten knocked down, but we've definitely been expanding out from like being on the farm so much to doing like talking about doing consulting kind of farm things these days, and trying to spread out and help people like all over the place, like if they want to get into growing and they need some help on leveling up or ideas or different things. Like that's what we've always been about, like helping everyone grow better and getting cleaner medicine in this planet, like, and just helping elevate the farmers. So that's been something that's on our mind, of kind of trying to travel out and just kind of guide more people along and just spread our knowledge of this plant around as much as we can.
Yeah. More people like you guys are needed to be out there, to be guiding.
Yeah, it's cool. It's because it's like so worldwide. There's so many places we can go visit and see. And while we're talking about weed and seeing gardens everywhere, it's like super appealing to us right now. California's markets for sure took some of the enjoyment out of growing right now for us. Like on like these big farms, or like these farms that aren't even like, say, giant, what big people. The farm, I don't know what a big farm is anymore. Like a 10,000 square foot farm seemed big at the beginning, and now it seems like a tiny farm compared to what a big farm would be. Acres, even acre, I guess, is big, but there's people doing such giant gardens now where it's like, what is the limit? And it's just the shit's just not nearly as fun as it used to be with this whole permitted bullshit, and California being kind of like, I think, maybe one of the worst places with the taxes and permitting problems. And like,
definitely
even like there's how Oklahoma's exploding, and we're gonna do a little Oklahoma project next year with someone.
I just got back from Oklahoma actually yesterday.
It's so crazy over there, and it's like I asked the dude who we're going to be partnering up with if he had to do like an environmental study and shit. They don't got to do none of that shit. Like,
we do nothing.
There's so
it's
many
old school
gardens
medical style, like ours, like my old school. It's the old.
Guaranteed.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Like even when you buy weed, they jar it up and weigh it right there for you at the clubs. It's like that shit. I forgot that's even how it was.
That's how it used
We've been on this prepackaged shit for these last few years. It's been like, man, this is fucking. It's expensive as hell, and it's like so much money gets taken. And then when you think about what the money's going to pisses us off a lot. You know, like a lot of our money, we talked about it with our friends that own a club in Cloverdale, the Red Door Remedies. It's two ladies that own this club, and they're really cool, super duper cool people. And they've been so frustrated with just like, hell of this tax money is going to cops to bust people that aren't permitted, and that's so
Circled.
fucking shitty that
Yeah.
that we're helping that happen too. That's not cool. It's like, it's just like a weird predicament that we're in now, where it's like, do we want to have our own mental dope farm and be a part of this shit, or do we not want to be a part of it anymore? It's weird. It sucks to not want to be a part of it, because when it first went legal, we're like, oh, we're screwed. We don't have a property that's permittable. It's zoned out. We got zoned out of our spot where we thought it was gonna be like, oh, cool, we'll get a small cottage permit and do some indoor and some outdoor and whatever we want to do. But
Keep our brand on the shelf, not have to go super crazy, but at least we could do something.
But that
Yeah.
got taken from us right away, and we teamed up with Green Shock for this first few years, and it's been like trying to be in the game and be a part of it and stuff. And after these last couple years, it's like, as time keeps going, it's like, is this what we want to be? Like, do we care enough to have like
Yeah.
our name brand stuff in the club? Is that like what we care about, or
Well,
not?
in
It's hard to
Cali,
say.
specifically,
In
right? 'Cause
Cali
I-
specifically,
Yeah.
yeah.
well, I think you guys are really, because you guys have been shaped by not only, you know, molded by the independent process in music, which already makes you kind of a savage with like business, like all different types of things, whether it's, you know,
Mhm.
because it forces you to like learn those things.
For sure.
You also have to you're operating in a really, really hard market. And now you could go take this to other, like you were saying, like other markets that, you know, could apply, and you could bring that to other markets and, you know, have that level of expertise, and whether it's in the products or you're consulting,
Mhm.
and, you know, literally you're setting the bar, you're going to raise the bar extremely high. Like, you know, Cali companies that go to, like, for example, Oklahoma, you know, and put, you know, do the same, you know, to a certain degree, put in the same amount of, you know, resources and stuff, you know, that actually, you know, there are some there, but there are Cali companies there that they're not operating like Cali companies, you know what I mean, in terms of understanding marketing. But I don't know, I think you guys definitely, there's a lot of markets that I think you guys would, you know,
Yeah, that's
thrive in.
what's really
Mhm.
cool, that we've got to this point now where it is kind of like, it's kind of like whatever we want to put our time into. It'd be really cool, you know, to have like a grow product too, like something cool that it
I
would
saw
be
the
in grow
glasses, by the
stores.
way, because
The glasses are really
those are
cool.
dope.
Yeah,
Yeah,
glasses came out
there's
super sick. Method 7's on
Yeah.
point with the
Method 7's been crushing it. Yeah, no,
yeah,
I
they're like
so
they're the
badass.
best grow glasses by far. They have every style for every style indoor room and whatever lighting you have.
yeah.
Super cool, yeah. And then like, you know, there's so many, yeah, products that would be cool to have to be in our circle or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
we've talked about different things with like trim tables and things like even just down to like cups for your scissors that are super pro. And like we talked about different things with like cloning cubes. You know, there's only like Rapid Rooters and Riot Rooters are the only two cubes that you buy for clones. Like, and besides, I guess the styrofoam or that other style we don't even like. We don't even use those ones.
Yeah.
But there's so many different things that we have envisioned, but it's just like where we want to spend our focus on. What's the kind of like what's the funnest thing to do? It's like
Yeah.
what we want to try to stay doing.
100%. Well, I think you guys have built, like, this is the way I think you guys are really, you know, you guys understood this really early on, is you guys have built now audiences in multiple areas, right? You have audiences, you have fans, and you know, those audiences, right, are also potential, you know, consumer groups, right, of different products, that because they trust you, they know you, you know, that you know,
Mhm.
they relate with your values and stuff, and
Yeah.
so, you know, you know, that's where they, you know, will get products from and stuff. And I think you know, I think the future is super bright for you guys. I also think it's dope too, because you guys are you know, you guys obviously want balance. Yeah, I'm not the best. I've been learning as I get older. Balance is really key to happiness in a lot of ways, right? You can't
Mhm.
overdo. You know, I can't constantly working, right? I gotta, you know,
Yeah,
balance
exactly.
out.
For sure.
You
Yeah.
know, so I can't, you know, make all these business moves, but if I'm not happy about it, you know, it's not, you know, that's not longevity. So
Yeah, for sure.
I think it's dope. You guys are, you know, doing
Yeah,
what
it's
you guys are talking about.
families. Yeah, super important. Having time, yeah, to relax is very important. Yeah, it's
Yeah. I'm gonna talk to you guys
Actually,
about an idea too after this, after we get off this, because I wanna get your guys' opinion on it. I think you guys would
Yeah,
like it.
hell
But
yeah.
yeah, and then just real quick with Green Shock, like when did you guys link up with them, and why did you end up
That
doing that?
was right after it went legal. So like 2018 when that passed for California to do this regulated. It's not even like legal. It's just regulated
Yeah,
for
literally.
this recreational fucking market or whatever. And so he was we started talking with him a little bit before and met him like only a few years before 2018. He was selling to the same club that we were working with, and he had super good weed. So we really appreciated his weed right away. We knew he knew what he was doing, and it ended up being to where when we got zoned out, he offered us to partner up with him to kind of keep our thing going and be a part of this whole train and stuff still.
There's a
So yeah,
moratorium in Mendocino, then? Or wherever you
but
guys there's a moratorium put on or something. Is that
for like spots where you can grow and stuff.
yeah?
Yeah, there's different zoning
Mhm.
places. Yeah,
Oh,
like
zoning. Okay, yeah, not moratorium. Yeah,
yes,
zoning.
yeah.
Mhm.
So like we never really like borrowing money and having investor stuff that much. So it wasn't our first option at all to try to stay in the game by borrowing someone else's money.
Yeah, smart.
So like doing the partnership with him was really cool to be a part of it. And then like this whole last 3 years, this is the fourth year now that we've been just learning so much about this market and the business behind it too. It's totally serious and way crazy. Um, and then being able to grow these big gardens without fear of getting raided again, you know what I mean, was super huge for us to be able to grow like we have at this garden we work at. Mostly is there's like 150 plants there, and they're just like nice big plants like we've always done. He has the same style as us, kind of, and it's just super cool to be able to grow free and do
Yeah.
that. But it's really like we realized after a few years that it's for sure not free. You're like you got your freedom, but you're like pretty much paying the cops off or paying the state off to be able
If
to
you're in
do
Cali,
this.
at least, and some other states. But no, I love your guys' grow though too. Like I think it's the way I wanted to bring this up. This is not specifically, I'm not I'm more of the, I want to get to know the other side of, a lot of growers and stuff rather than specific growing aspect. But I love how you guys do. It's like very, you guys use, you use nature. Right? You have a lot of different.
Yes.
I love how you guys keep foliage around. It's not like all just cut out. I think you guys
Yeah,
are
just
you guys synthesize with nature, which I think
for sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
super
that's very cool to like we've been getting into that more throughout the years, and then Green Shock was really about that, so it was just kind of like it was perfect timing for us as we're getting into no-till and getting into in the ground, the difference of in the ground to in a pot, and predator bugs and cover
yeah, the
crops and
predator,
stuff
yeah,
like that. Super cool to have this whole nature circle with nature is like very important to us. Yeah, and
yeah,
it's kind of like not that many. Not there's a lot of people doing it, but not I guess not a whole bunch of permitted gardens doing it, and a lot of these permitted gardens in California right now seem to be greenhouse and indoor for sure.
yeah,
Even though
yeah.
we're in the best place to grow full term outdoor, a lot of people aren't doing it
Yeah.
because you make more money doing
I like,
greenhouses.
yeah, I like outdoor, dude. That's also another thing that I fucked with you guys tough on. Like I remember seeing a video of you guys showing some really fire bud, and it
Yeah,
was, you said, you showed the indoor outdoor, and like, well, it's just like also too, like I know, like, if you really want the strongest terp profiles, it's outside,
for sure.
right?
Yeah,
Isn't that like
I guarantee. Like
from
in
the
the
sun,
ground
right?
with the sun. Yeah, the
Yeah,
sun's the main thing. In the ground even adds another level to it.
yeah, 100%.
Yeah, it's like so many people they just gotta learn still. Like there's a lot of boo boo outdoor too. That's kind of like people think all outdoors the same sometimes,
Oh
or
yeah,
it's like it's not at all. And a lot of indoor it can be boo boo
can
too.
be very
And
boo, and it's boo boo
yeah,
in the sense where it's really hot. Because like I think about the shit that I sometimes, like back in the day, like the indoor, I'm like, oh, and I know a lot more now. I know way more
yeah,
about like cannabis. I'm like, wow, we were probably smoking some heavy
yeah,
metals,
hell yeah,
Oh, all
poison
kind of
sprays.
shits.
salts. Just that. I mean, salts are fine, but like
Yeah.
just a lot of
Chemicals.
yeah,
Yeah.
no, 100%, dude. Yeah, like a lot of shit, dude. Like,
So we were listening to like an old song that we had from like it was probably like 2007 or 8 or some shit. And and it's so
old.
funny listening to some of our old music that's not out online yet or not out online anymore. When we started our new label, we kind of started fresh at a certain point. So we have like hundreds and hundreds of songs that aren't out. And one of them was like, Oldie said something about Eagle 20, and I'm like, damn, look how old that shit was. It's like we would never even think about that shit no more after all these years that we've learned. But like that, we were spraying back.
You're
in
like,
the
wait,
day
we
with
used that.
Avid and
No,
Eagle
we used-
20
oh,
and
God,
fucking.
no,
we didn't
we
have
didn't.
masks on when we were spraying this shit. It's like it's crazy the change for all this time.
Yeah, it's crazy just the amount of learning that's going on just in general with just the more you're obviously around it, obviously, but then also like with the regulations coming in. I guess that's
Yeah,
one slight positive to regulations.
That's what's cool about California. Yeah, that we are probably the most strict state when it comes to testing and
all the testing programs are so fucked up though in every state. Like I study all them.
Oh, it's so fucked.
It's all messed up.
There's nothing similar. Every test person's different.
The government needs to. The government is. I typically would never say this, but this is what I think they need to do. They need to make a single. Like they need to put that tax money that they've been charging.
Yes.
Put it into. You can. I think they need to just keep it. They need to create their own, and then they need to either certify third party like private businesses to do it or not. But to have the private third party, that's all it is.
Yeah.
Makes no sense. It
makes no sense at all, and not one test has ever came back the same from any other different testing company. Like and then these days too, the weed you could pick whichever testing person you like that tests your shit the highest. So now it's like the weed that even our shit last year is a lot higher numbers because the distributor went to a different testing facility. So it's like, oh, that looks really cool for people in the club, but it's all bullshit.
Yeah, I know people that literally, I know people that literally would use testing from like 4 years ago,
and still put that on their new jars and whatever.
Yeah,
it's crazy. There's that many different ways to use testing to your advantage. It's so fucked up.
Yeah, anybody that really knows, I like for them. I mean, I'll look at I guess what the rough like what are the dominant terpenes in there percentage wise. I don't really give it. I mean, I guess like a little bit there, but
but it's not a real number.
Still though, like it's we just need more research. We need to get more innovation.
It's just gotta be a little more.
Hey, what you mad about?
Well, guys, I wanted to say, guys, I really appreciate you guys for coming on. You guys are, I've heard so much about you guys, and I've been wanting you guys on the show for so long. So I really do appreciate you guys' time, and this is one of my favorite podcasts actually I've done. So
sweet, we appreciate you having us on here. It's always cool to chop it up and just get some more stuff out there about what's going on.
Yeah, we're glad that we've got some internet to work.
Absolutely, and I'm sorry about the internet woes, and then the fire too with the other properties or whatever. It's
crazy. A lot of people are going through it right now. From all different sides of the game.
100%, dude. 100%. Our prayers are with them. Well, guys, thanks again, guys. And so everyone listening, please go. If you guys don't know about Mendo Dope, go follow them. I'll put links down below. If you guys haven't checked them out on YouTube, then I don't know what you're doing. You're fucking up. Really dope content. Guys, so this is the Frame of Flower podcast, episode number, I always mess this up, 49. With
49.
Mendo Dope. Thanks, guys. Appreciate y'all.
Cause I got this by father, murdering with the mic is harder. I'm an original ganja farmer.